Elen Lumen Amentielvo, a star shines on the hour of our meeting. Hello friends, I'm Narelon Starfire, pronouns are he, him. Welcome to the stream. It's Tuesday and that's Minecraft Day, isn't it? So that's what we'll be doing today. I don't know where Loomis is. Late, I imagine. Probably playing a game or something that happens semi-regularly. He'll turn up when he'll turn, when he turns up. But first of all, thank you Cassie so much for that raid. Thank you so much for that, I really appreciate it. I think you and your raiders know me by now, and I've introduced myself at the beginning anyway. But yeah, thanks again for that raid, I really appreciate it. Hope your stream went well. You were doing, I was lurking while I was working and having my tea and what have you. But I know you're playing Terra Nil, which looked very fun. Thanks for the shout out, no problem. Hope you had a lot of fun with your stream today. Wait, I never asked, is that Elvish? It is, yes, B-Rat. Also, hi, B-Rat. It's Quenya. Elen si le lumen aumentielvo. Which I then say in English as well straight after. A star shines on the hour of our meeting. I brought a B-Rat, a most valuable chatter. Thank you, Cassie. It's definitely appreciated. So how are we all doing today? How's Tuesday for you? How are we all? Oh, there we are. I always forget to get everything set up as I should. I only remember that because it's part of how someone once asked me out on a first date. B-Rat, that's fantastic. Is there more story you can share there? Because that's brilliant. So someone asked you out, well, at least in part, by saying, Elen si la lumen aumentielvo. That's amazing. I mean, was it me? Because I don't remember doing that. But that is fantastic. I'm good. Stream was fun. Terra Nil is very chill. Oh, good. It looked like a lot of fun. Are you reconstructing an environment? Is that what's happening there? Oh yeah, there's villagers on the roof, isn't there? I don't know how they got there. I don't know. I don't know how they got there. I don't know. I'm gonna get them down. But that's the mess we got going on. Anyway, here we are. I feel sat skewiffed, and I don't know why. Let me. Oh yeah, that's fine. Fellow Tolkien nerd, some probably over 10 years ago now. I barely remember anything that far back, to be honest. Fair enough, but I would definitely be impressed if someone asked me out in Elvish, in Quenya. That would be. I use a lot. I'll use little bits of Elvish throughout my stream. Obviously, I use it at the intro. It's the thing I say in Sindarin when I get a follow. And I always end the stream with some Quenya as well. I don't know if I'll do that forever. It was like an easy one to do because Narelon is derived from Quenya. So it was like an easy thing to do. Whoop! Yeah, cleverly landed on that ledge. This'll do. We're prepared for that. Oh yeah, I understood enough of it back then to immediately reply yes. Nice. I don't remember what the other part was, but something like, shall we take a walk in the moonlight, also in Elvish. That's fantastic. I would, yeah, that'd get me. That'd definitely work on me. That's fantastic. I mean, it's going to work on a Tolkien nerd, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. Did I actually finish the circuit? I did, didn't I? There's a lot more glass needs going in, but I did finish the basic circuit. I just got to redo all the supports and stuff. Oh yeah, because I carried it out all the way over there, even though I don't quite know how I'm going to do that. I mean, it's a problem for later. That's what that is. I was both a Tolkien nerd and a conlang nerd back then, so it worked on many levels. Oh, very nice. That is a great double hit there, isn't it? That's fantastic. I've never done anything that unusual to ask somebody out. I mean, you got to know your audience, and you. I've done silly things, but unusual things. I've quoted the Hagakure on a date before. Well, not quite a date, but I've quoted the Hagakure before. That was that's the thing I did once. That's a 17th century Japanese collection of sayings about the way of the samurai. You know, it actually worked though, so, my weirdness paid off in that regard. They weren't even like into that sort of stuff, it just was contextually appropriate. Not even the weirdest date invite I've gotten though. Very nice. I've never really had many, so I've not really got any like cool stories about weird date invites. I mean, there was that time somebody we'd gone bowling with sixth form, and I thought this lass kind of liked me. Could basically just kind of nice to her, and like, you know, she'd gone through a breakup, and people weren't very nice to her a lot of the time, and I was. And we're at the bowling alley, and because you have to change your shoes, don't you? And I changed, obviously I changed into the shoes, and then at the end of it, I was going to change back into my boots. So I realised there's an Enderman. Okay, did the Enderman displace that plant? I don't know. And yeah, she offered to change my shoes back into my boots for me, which was a strange experience. Weirdest is a contest between watching Suicide Club and going to one of those preserved bodies exhibits. Weirdest is a contest between watching Suicide Club and going to one of those preserved bodies exhibits. Neither was my idea, to be clear. Yeah, I don't know which is weird. I mean, I think the preserved bodies probably edges it out. That's probably, yeah. I think for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I think that'd edge it out for me. And that is yeah. It was a strange experience. Bless her. I kind of sometimes wonder wherever happened to her. Because she were a bit annoying, but mine, that doesn't merit being nasty to her, does it? Yeah, you can be nice to people even if they are annoying. But there we are. But otherwise, I don't have any unusual dating stories. Not like that, anyway. Not asking somebody out. Yeah, I just can't get my head around the preserved bodies thing. Like is there a context there? Is that was this a thing you talked about? Was this like a thing you're both interested in? Because I mean, I get the whole thing of like, going somewhere that you both like going to a gig, or I don't know, going to a museum or something. But a display of preserved bodies is an interesting choice for romance, I think. Or at least by my book, I'm not here to judge. She was a scientist and had a weird interest in anatomy, even though it wasn't her field of study. Okay, so there's like an edge of odd there. Like, he's tangentially understandable. But there's an edge of, which is, to each their own, I guess. But yeah, that's a bit odd. For like a date. For, to like hang out as friends, sure. I mean, I'd probably politely decline. But, I can see it. I can see that being a thing. Well, unless did she ask you out while you were there? Because that adds an extra element of weird. I've never done a proper date before. Like, I've not done lots. I always have this particular one in mind. Because it was like the first one after I'd been to uni and everything. And she'd got some health problems that meant she couldn't. I'd gone for the standard, I'd go to a restaurant, right? Thought that was pretty easy. Alright, so we knew each other from work, and she's like, "No, I can't go to that one." I was like, "Oh, right." So I suggested another one. She's like, "No, I can't go to that one." And I was like, "Oh, is there any you prefer?" She's like, "No, I can't go to any of them." And it's because she got these health problems that meant she couldn't really eat, and it's this whole thing. And so I was like, well, pictures aren't a great date. Are they going to pictures? That's not really. Like, you can, but you kind of already want to be a bit established, don't you? If you want to be talking to each other and that, you don't want to just be going to pictures. And besides which, there were no town at the time. So I was like, what about bowling? And that way we went bowling, and then went to a pub afterwards. And like, it must have gone well, because like we met up at like, I don't know, 3 or 4, ended up hanging out till like midnight. So, you know, we went well. We had a lot of fun. Like, that's the one. For some reason, that's the one I always think of as like my archetypal like first date. It's not like the time I got invited to. I made dinner with somebody at work. She's like, "Oh, where do you want to hang out?" She emailed me. I don't know how. I didn't give her my email address. She must have looked me up on the work directory by my name, which she must have remembered. Fair enough, you know. And she just like spent the whole like dinner out, like half 45 minutes, wherever it were, just bombarding me with questions. And I was like, I'm a bit nervous anyway, because you know I'm not like dead confident around people I don't know. And she just like absolutely just bombarded me with questions the whole time, and it was just really stressful. And she never contacted me again, so I guess I failed the test. But it was something. Now it was like several dates in, and I just happened to be a thing happening in a city we're visiting. Ah, yeah, that's fair enough. That's not particularly weird, is it? That sounds awful if you're not really into that much attention. Yeah, like, if I'd been kind of like prepared for it, I guess. There are scenarios where that would have been fine. Like if I'd gone at set up that was going to be it. But to just like be like, oh yeah, do you want to have lunch at work? Okay, and then just get bombarded with questions, like quite aggressive questioning as well. It wasn't very fun. Also, going on a trip soon. Have you noticed what big stars real estate agents have become lately? Do you like mountain biking? Do you like wandering under the pale blue sky? If that was fake, who ate Hal's food? Also, hi Loomis. I sense a presence. I feel that there is a presence with us. There's someone around. Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? Make yourself known to us. The spirits are very strong tonight. The spirits are very strong. Hey! Oh! Hey! That's the voice, the spectral voice of a friend of the channel, Loomis of Phelan, pronouns Zizem. Hi, Loomis.
Hello, and hi everybody.
How's it going?
Going okay. Minecraft took a really long time to load up tonight for some reason.
Oh no, that is not ideal. I think. Oh.
Also, I'm very sleepy and would like to bed, please.
IRL or Minecraft?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Quick question to the audience: how's Loomis's volume today? Because last week you were a little bit quiet, so I like turned you up. So like, you seem loud and clear to me. It's a bit quiet. You seem very loud to me. It's quiet to everybody else, and I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to alter that anymore. Wait, maybe I can adjust this. Hold on, I'm tweaking. Steady.
You're tweaking? Do you need some help?
I've boosted you further, so that should be fine. That should be fine with that, definitely me. But, yeah, I'm coming down, I guess. Thank you for the lurk, Frezzo. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope Tuesday's treating you well. Yeah, I think I had a similar experience once when a woman wanted to do a staring contest with me because she heard I was a nerd and she thought that assumed I was shy for some reason. Didn't know what she was getting into. That's really bizarre. I mean, I have many questions, but yeah, that's a choice. That's a choice that she made. Yeah, we were talking about. I mean, I don't know how much of that you caught, Loomis. I don't know how present you were for any of that. We're talking about bizarre date experiences.
Yeah, I only came in at the tail end.
Yeah. Well, you missed all the juicy stuff, so you just have to learn to live with it. Although one day it'll be on YouTube, right? So you could catch it there.
Yeah.
Catch it there, mate, eventually. Yeah, I just I can't remember. Oh, it was because B-Rat was asking about my opening phrase. Was that Elvish? Because B-Rat recognised it from being asked out on a date with a aforementioned phrase. And then we were talking about like dates and stuff like that. It kind of spun out from there.
Yeah.
And that's how I came about the story of being grilled at work by someone of a day. And it was like that. It was that clip of Riker. I mean, I should say Riker. Jonathan Frakes. It was that clip of Jonathan Frakes just bombarding with questions. I did expect, taking a trip soon. Have you ever gone a wandering in the pale blue sky? Just all that. That's exactly what it was like. It was horrible.
Half the fun of the show, that show for me was just imagining that it was Riker taking a year out from Starfleet.
just enjoying himself. I love that. I love some of the version someone did where they slowed him down, so he sounds drunk.
Yeah.
It's just like a drunk man accosting you. Because he's just like, taking a trip soon. Just all that. Just brilliant. So I never watched the original program, but I only know it from the memes.
Yeah.
So in other words, I have the same level of knowledge as the average 40k fan has about 40k. I went there. Oh, I did it. But, anyway, so I mean that needs going. I'm doing the physical architecture to it now. The transit tube. I'm gonna do all the supports first, and then. So obviously the height doesn't change anymore. So
Yeah.
like all the old stations are like at wrong height. Not all of them. Most of them are at wrong heights. So I only need one station per one like platform per station as well. So we can tell that too. Yeah. Anyway, how have you been? I mean, I know we spoke Sunday, but I'll be polite.
Yeah, I've been okay. Been very busy at work today.
Have you? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Like too busy.
A little bit maybe.
Because sorry, go on.
I had some work done on the outside of the building that was very distracting. So like, I don't normally mind the customers, but it's like I was trying to do several things at once today.
Oh, that's just stressful though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, how's your week been?
Alright, fine. I mean, really, I can't complain. It's, who'd listen? But I've been working from home this week, so that's quite nice. I like that. That's better than working in an office. Still, we got a chance to do it, so I'm obviously going to say yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot better. That's mine. It's better, isn't it? It's a rare thing, though, so it'll not be for much. It'll be like this week, and then who knows when it'll be next, if ever. You have to work on that principle. But I'll enjoy it while it's here. It's so much better. It's so much more enjoyable. It's just,
Yeah.
like, I'm not considering looking for a hospital that allows to work remotely. Just something to. Ow, that was not a pillar that I was stood on. I'm sorry. Worth considering. Someone I used to work with did do that. She went to work for another hospital because she could work remotely. Like, it depends on a number of factors, but it's definitely something I'm considering because it's just so much better.
Yeah.
It's just so much better. I get to be at home for starters. Like, kind of just like stress that point. I get to be at home, which is fantastic. But also, like, you don't have to travel. You'd have to like have a shower when you get in. You know, you've been at hospital. You
Yeah.
can just like finish work and just, you know, do something else immediately. Yeah, you can, I don't know, do whatever you want really, can you?
Yeah.
Put oven on while you're working. Get your dinner as soon as it's over. It's an option you've got. Usually I finish work and take a nap if I'm working from home. I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't condone naps, of course. We know the policy of Kira's, you know, community. See that? Yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna obstruct the road. You don't mind, do I? Yeah, just
Yeah.
obstruct the road a little bit.
We won't need roads anymore. Like, there'll be no need to consider the former needs of pedestrians once the transit tube system is fully in place.
That's true. I mean, we won't need to, so therefore, you know, I can't imagine anyone else would either. You could be logical about that sort of thing, can't you? I got that actually weird. I didn't think it would. I'm stuck on a roof, but it, you know, I got the thing I needed to do. You know, yeah, it's not terrible. I can tinker. I can make it work. ACAB includes being against naps. This is what's splitting the left. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, thank you. I wondered what around in there. I didn't know you'd come up against me that direction, so I just thought, what? Thank you.
Are those actually going in, or are they?
They're falling through the scaffolding, but yeah, I was descending.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. You always that from East Market?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Going back and forth a lot at the moment, so
Thank you. That's
keep picking
brilliant.
up some well in there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if I just widen the road the other side, it's fine.
Cool.
There we go. It's almost the same. I mean, it's not. It looks worse. But, you know, we can consider it to be roughly, approximately the same. It's not dissimilar, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. We can sit in the hot tub and watch you working from here.
I always
Sitting in
forget.
the hot tub in the pouring rain, which isn't quite ideal, but you know.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
Why I'm going to leave the left as soon as I take this nap. Right, and I can do like a little jaunty little thing here. Oh, okay, that was a maybe. Yeah, you know what? It's gonna look terrible, but I can do it. Which is the only thing that matters. I just do. Oh no. Where's the? Oh, there's a house. This is a disaster. Such a disaster. Let's try it this way. Too focused on my engineering, I forgot what I was going to say. Something funny and witty, no doubt.
The tiny hot tub and the single DDR machine are like the least impressive arcade that's ever existed.
I don't know. I've been to some dodgy arcades. I guess they had more machines. They were just like in worse state. Like that one I went to at Withensea, just in East Yorkshire, and it was just like, you know, have you ever played what's it called, like Ghost Squad or something? Which is one of those like shooters. You know, you got like a little assault rifle. It's got like you got like an underslung grenade launcher thing, and you press the like you press the button to like your secondary fire or whatever. And anyway, got one of them. But the problem was it was broken. Like the bottom, the bottom bit with the action button was missing. And the game requires you to use that action button to like free hostages and such. So you know, you couldn't play the game properly, and also the which is a problem. Like just starting, that's a problem. But also, the wire that connected it to the machine was taped on. Like it obviously someone had cut it, and they'd like taped it back together. Like it worked, but it's clearly, you know, in a state.
Yeah.
I just set the music playing and just left. The DDR machine. So, oh yeah, I've got more stations to take now. We got how many like versions? How many like copies of that have we got? Because we like it was the same one we found now and every time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We just kept finding cat. There's that cursed one that we don't play. But otherwise, it was just cat, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that one's in the Dark Temple now.
Oh yeah. Appropriate. Oh, but I will say this thing though, that Ghost Squad were like 50p a go, whereas normally it's a pound. Assumedly because, you know, it's wooden sea and everything falling apart. Like, I'm imagining that's why we're only 50p. You know.
Yeah, makes sense.
I quite enjoyed that. I nipped in toilets and it was just like rusted and falling. Like the urinal itself, it was like rusted man through. I've never been in a shoddier arcade. But there obviously must be enough like revenue to keep it open, but not enough, I guess, to invest in actually like looking after it.
Yeah.
Should I gather back in all that gravel I laid as ballast, or should I just abandon it? So I'm willing to abandon it. You don't have to like persuade me. You know, if you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be a great show, I'm gonna have to persuade him to just like leave it. You don't have to worry.
Well, I mean, we might need it though. Is the thing.
That's true.
You know, it's technically a limited resource. Yeah.
So I'm being swamped by villagers while I'm trying to work. But please, this is a construction site. Nobody here is wearing a hard hat. I've never been to an arcade. I don't think we've had any outside of maybe the capital, but I don't know of any there. I like arcades. They're all like at seaside here, aren't they?
Yeah.
Apart from
It's.
like maybe somewhat like bowling alleys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the big kind of like bowling alleys, like multi-entertainment kind of places.
Yeah, I like big cinemas.
Mm.
They'll have like a micro arcade.
Yeah, like I don't know, a racing game and I don't know,
Yeah.
slot machine or whatever.
Also seen them at service stations.
Have you?
On the motorway, like
yeah.
like the big service stations in the middle of nowhere with like the restaurants and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the ones that are like on, I don't know, M1 or something, but I don't know actually if the M1 actually goes anywhere where it's middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But one of those, I know what you mean, yeah, like big motorway, nothing for miles around, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Rare to find a dedicated arcade these days, says Cassie. Yeah, I think it is just seaside, isn't it? And there is that place in, like completely inland, Matlock Bath, which supposedly is like an inland seaside resort. It's like loads of fish and chip shops there and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much is.
Just like arcades and fish and chip shops. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something heavily associated with the seaside.
Yeah. They used to be on piers, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is where I won that rip-off Pokemon card I was talking about last week. That were at an arcade on a pier. Back in the 90s. Opening up a free-to-play arcade is one of my if I win the lottery ideas. Besides building communism, of course. I like that. I used to have that. Like, a few of us had the idea, didn't we, of opening an arcade. Like, in lieu of doing, like, a real job at, like, a place of work. We're like, can we all club together and open an arcade to try and get out of doing, like, a job that we should actually be doing? But, you know, never got the chance. Because that actually, it turns out, is a real job. So, you know, foiled again.
Also, I have to say, you know, if If I win the lottery, then I don't need communism anymore.
Yeah, communism's for the poor. Move over, losers. Depends how big of a win, I guess. If I had a bigger apartment, I'd build one with a Raspberry Pi, a single cabinet. I've noted this down for after the revolution, Lewis. Counter-revolutionary thought.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet going around that said, sorry, go on.
I'm gonna get denounced.
Yeah. I don't know why I demolished that. I don't really need to. Well, just done. Denunciations are an essential part of communism. You can't have communism without denouncing your way there. Or just like, fun. Just, denunciations all around. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a priest. I forget there's a priest there. What's the big wood log wall for? That's the High Hay, named after the High Hay from The Lord of the Rings. I don't think it's mentioned in The Hobbit, is it? But it's mentioned a couple of times in Lord of the Rings. It's to keep everybody else out, and not to keep the villagers in. That's not the kind of enterprise we've got going here. Yeah, I grew this, and Loomis did most of the trimming down. It all planted as trees, and then cut to the appropriate height. And it's to defend ourselves. It was after we got attacked by illagers in a massive siege where most of the villagers died, as did Loomis's cat. In a blue on blue incident, but still, that was a direct consequence of the siege. So this is technically Buckland. Yes, that's it. There we go. Got some Tolkien nerds in. I'm in my element. Interesting. According to my analytics overview, I should now have met the requirements for affiliate. Oh, that's brilliant, Cassie. You should get an email tomorrow, because when I met the condition, which is when, when I got some people in from Kira's community and stuff other week. I got 3 weeks ago now, 2 week before I went away, wasn't it? I got an email the following day. So that was Tuesday night, and I got, and I got the email the afternoon. So I think I subbed on the 15th. That's got to be the day after I became an affiliate viewer. You must have done it straight away. Oh yeah, because I found out on the Wednesday, but I was out. Because I was off work and I'd gone to Mum and Dad's or something. So I didn't find out until Thursday when I thought, I'll check my emails. Or I went on Twitter, wherever it was. So then I filled up paperwork in and mentioned it in our Discord and in Kira's Discord on Friday. Oh yeah, because it was Kira's birthday, which is the 14th, wasn't it? That's when I mentioned it, because Kira said it was her birthday wish to that everyone say congratulations to Nair. Or that it was because it was a birthday she commanded it. It's just kind of like a birthday wish. And then, so that had been the 14th. So, you must have done it the day after, which I appreciate. While I was away. Awesome. The Path to Affiliate thing hasn't updated yet, but I think that's slower anyway. Yeah, it takes a little bit to do it. Mine hadn't updated. It said I'd met all the all the requirements were met, but it didn't say I'd met them. And then I got the email the next day. That's brilliant, Cassie. I'm really pleased about that. Been working hard to get there, so that's great. I swear I've got Luck 10 Fallout build IRL, because sometimes the timing is just ridiculous. That's brilliant. I always take low, really low, just because I've got other things I want to put stats in. Which of course is atrocious when you play New Vegas, by the way. Turns out gambling is important in Vegas. We all know that Luck's a big fat gambler.
I feel like I'd take 0 luck doing New Vegas just on the principle. Clearly, you're supposed to have high luck, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and
When
it's
I
like.
played,
Sorry, go on.
no, you go ahead.
I would say like if you look up like New Vegas like discussions or whatever online, apart from like every other thread being Fallout 4 sucks. All right, we're talking about New Vegas. Calm down. It is like that at times. It's like okay. It's all people being like, oh yeah, I made like 1 billion caps by the time I was level 8 because I took this, that, and the other to win at all the casinos. Well, yeah, okay. I got bored. Like blackjack's fun the first time, and I'm like there and me, I'm here in cupboard under stairs because I like to roleplay a little bit, as you know. I even talked about that in Kira's chat once when someone was like, "Do you do this like role playing when you're on your own playing games?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "I do." But yeah, there I am like, "Oh, beginner's luck." You're playing away as though I'm playing cards, and then after a bit you're like, "Okay, it's just blackjack then." Like, I do a bit of roulette, but slots. So, I've got fruities. That's the term, isn't it? Right? Got one hand. We don't call them that. Got fruit machines. But then, yeah. I mean, maybe it's probably a time issue about what they could or couldn't implement. I get that. Fallout 4's item customization system is fantastic, and I will die on this hill. But I think they didn't keep the ammo system from New Vegas, right? No, they didn't keep that. You just get like the one ammo type per, like whatever the gun stated ammo. That's the one, and you can't like reload ammo like you can in New Vegas, which is a fun thing. I've done it IRL by the way, and it's very stressful. Where you get the spent brass, and you get like some new lead, and you put the powder and the price. It's very stressful. You keep expecting it to like you know it shouldn't, but you keep expecting it to go off and shoot you, or to blow up in your face. It should. I mean, it could, but it shouldn't. Sorry, Liam, you were going to say something before I got into that.
Yeah, when I played through Fallout 1, I set my my luck to the minimum, and also took the jinxed floor. Which makes random bad luck events much more likely. Well, it makes like the trigger for bad luck checks much more likely to show up. And it was something.
Oh, I bet that was spectacular.
I had to retrain in melee because every gun that I touched immediately exploded in my hands. Like they jam or break or something every single shot.
Just start clubbing them with the gun instead.
Yeah. I got the most powerful gun in the game, and it literally exploded the first time I fired it.
Oop. That's probably why I love one of the Mass Effects so much. It had both ammo and weapon modification, if I remember correctly. Been years though, I might be misremembering. I like that, and yeah, I love the weapon mod in it, like the item mod in Fallout 4. It's just so nice. Like it all just like works. It makes sense. It's fun to do. They say though, the fact that Fallout 4's best feature is it's the fact that it has good gameplay is actually a damning indictment. I was told once. And by the way, if you don't like it, that's entirely okay. I'm not saying that people have to like it or something. I just like to poke fun about some of the objections that people make. That to me, I'm always like, does that matter? Anyway, because there's always going to be fandoms. It's fandoms, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's people who get really defensive about their chosen property, and I'm a 40k player. I know what it's like. It's yeah, that sounds about right for Jinxed at Luck 1. Cause you played through Fallout 1, didn't you, Cassie, on stream? If I remember rightly, or at least played some of it. Am I remembering that rightly, or am I just making stuff up? Which is not impossible. But don't tell people who rely on me for historical information. I did about 3 years ago, I think. Was it that we were talking about it? Is that why I know? Was it we were talking about when Kira was playing New Vegas? I think we had a whole discussion about Fallout 1 in like her chat or Discord or something. Is that how I know? Fallout 4, good game, bad RPG, bad Fallout. I've heard people say that. I still enjoy it. I still think it's like, it's the voice protagonist is like a mixed bag. Like I like it in the sense that, because it's well animated enough, you can like see the reactions on the face, like when they say the lines. Like, I think it makes it very heartfelt because the story is driven by emotion, right? I'm not going to spoil it, but the Fallout 4 story relies very heavily on, you know, the emotions of the events and what's going on. So I think it works for that. But at the same time, obviously, it does restrict your options somewhat because the character is speaking for you. You know, you can't give them an accent or what have you. And you know, just swings and roundabouts in different things. My only allegiance is to the Dwarf Fortress, unless the creators do something sus at some point. I like there's almost no useless things to pick up. Pretty much everything is useful for crafting. This Fallout 4, sorry. I like there's almost no useless things to pick up. Pretty much everything is useful for crafting. Loot Goblin Heaven and Hell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, everywhere there's stuff in Fallout 4, and it's all useful. And I like that. Because, like, it gives you a reason to go into every room. Because there's always going to be something that you could use, right? Obviously, once you're, like, level 50 and you've got everything, then you might not bother, but you've always got a reason. You're never like, can't be bothered, because what am I going to get? You're like, oh, there could be something. Like, even if it's just a load of tin cans, that's useful materials to turn into whatever. Finding a legendary weapon that I don't need. Sad. Finding another oil can. Ecstatic. It's like a dog bowl. Excellent. Oh, a legendary missile launcher. Oh, I didn't need that. The dog balls, by the way, are super useful because plastic's a rare commodity in the Fallout universe because they're all shortages. So get a plastic dog ball, you find that's. A mug? That's ceramic. Heck yeah. That is what it's like as well. You're like going through a bombed out house being like, yes, a mug. An old light bulb. What a day. I'll freely admit there's plenty to like about Fallout 4. I even like it myself. It just doesn't have the things I'm looking for from Fallout. Yeah, I think I can totally see that. Like, it depends what you want from the game as well. And probably if I'd like started with Fallout 1, maybe I wouldn't be so charitable towards it, you know. But coming like straight off, like say Skyrim, and playing it as my first Fallout game, it was spot on for me. But again,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Skyrim of the Fallout series.
Oh, that is true. Actually, you need to play Morrowind, don't you, Lewis? Because I feel like you could be a Morrowind person.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you've got it in you to be a Morrowind person.
I mean, I don't know if I want to get into like these sequels though, where they missed the point of the original and made it super easy. I mean, maybe I'll play Morrowind someday, but I'm not really expecting it to be an arena. They just like didn't. They'd sold out by that point, hadn't they? They didn't care about the fans. They're just interested in making money. I feel called out. That's me talking about Skyrim. I've heard. Not the only Elder Scrolls game I've played, but Arena is the only Elder Scrolls game I've finished.
You played Daggerfall, right?
Yeah.
I've got Daggerfall. It was free, which I think is about the right price to pay for Daggerfall.
Yeah. Daggerfall is awful. I mean, maybe it gets good because I couldn't get past the tutorial dungeon. But I want to emphasize I couldn't get past the tutorial dungeon.
Yeah, I've heard people say that. Apparently it's like one of the hardest things ever in like an Elder Scrolls game.
Like I feel the need to emphasize, right? I'm not. lots of people decide that they don't like a game during the early stages and that, but like I beat Arena, and I couldn't do the tutorial to Daggerfall.
This says a lot about society. Didn't Fallout 2 got like an awful tutorial as well, which I know is a different company, but I wonder if it's the same kind of problem of like management deciding it needs a tutorial section that's actually like really unnecessary and needlessly hard. And Cassie says, see, I started with Fallout 3 before New Vegas released, and it was so broken I stopped playing. Then around 2018, 2019, I watched H-Bomb's Fallout 3 is Garbage, tried and loved New Vegas, then went back and played 1 and 2. I see, I started with Fallout 4, then I played New Vegas, then 3. I did try Fallout 1 like several times, and I just can't get into it. I've really tried. It's the gameplay I find like. Not the controls or anything, like, 'cause I remember those games first time around, games that handle like that. And I love the kind of the feel of it. I think the sound design is quite nice, certainly for a game that old. It's atmospheric, and they reuse some of that sound design in New Vegas, by the way. Because some of it's just like, it just works. It's creepy atmospheric music, what do you want? There's lots I do like about it, but I don't know, I just didn't like the way it played. It wasn't enjoyable for me. I'm going to try Fallout 2. I know it's the same deal, but I want to try it anyway at some point. Maybe I'm not a real gamer. Maybe that's the issue. Discourse. I want it there. Yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. And like, if I don't enjoy something, I can't like press on with it. I'm just sort of out, you know.
I'm way too prone to pressing on regardless when I'm not enjoying something.
I start to I'll finish.
Yeah.
Ambierus says, I think I've only really finished Oblivion. I played Morrowind several times longer, but I was always just screwing around instead of doing any plot. I hope they added a tutorial to the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress. It used to be one of those games known for having a learning cliff instead of a curve. Oh, it does, doesn't it?
It is. It's pretty fine. You just gotta accept that your first few dozen forts are gonna die while you learn the controls. I mean, that's just part of the experience, really.
Just what a real gamer would put up with.
Yeah.
Like a real gamer would do.
Once you start to get the site and all the symbols become like fields and factories, etc. That's when it starts to turn around.
That's true. Once you no longer see ASCII symbols, but rather the things that they represent.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Then it's easy, if anything.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think it is a bit too easy these days.
It's made for babies, you know.
It's not like it used to be.
Yes. One of my favourite complaints about Skyrim and Fallout 4 actually is that they were made for babies. I'm like, have you met any babies? Because I'm not a father, and no, I'm a very paternal. But I've got a niece and nephew, and I remember when they were babies, and they couldn't have played through Skyrim. They're very clever kids, but I still don't think they could have played through Skyrim or Fallout 4. I remember playing Dwarf Fortress before it had Z levels back in 2006. Oh, grief. I played it first in 2012.
Yeah, I first played just after they added Z levels.
I do need to do it. So there's not a chance, I'm afraid, Lewis, to do the what's it called? I've forgotten the name again. We talked about it last week. Succession 4. I was going to say sequential, which I mean, yeah, it's like kinda. But you know what I mean? It's wrong, but you know what I meant if I said it.
Yeah. But knowing that it's wrong, would I acknowledge that I knew what you meant?
No, probably not. Like I would expect no other from you. Yeah, that's fun. I like Dwarf Fortress. But time. You know, there's so much left to do. Obscure film reference. Name the film that line's from. Not yet. There's so much left to do. I doubt anybody would know that, actually. I mean, it's not an obscure film, but it's not something that most people would probably be familiar with.
Yeah.
It's Alexander the Great. Starring Richard Burton as Alexander the Great. It's his last words. No, not yet. There's so much left to do. Which is not, by the way, Alexander's last words.
Yeah.
They were something that his generals interpreted in their own ways. In ways that benefited them. He possibly said to the strongest. He possibly said to Crateros. Which is, I mean, to the strongest is like, what, Crateroi? Something like that. And he may have said to Crateros, which means, which is something like Cratero. Something like that. So, you know, and if you weren't Crateros, maybe you would mishear it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he totally said to the strongest. He certainly didn't, like, name a guy when we asked him who wanted to succeed him. He totally didn't, like, name a person. The film Alexander does that well. It's a bad film, honestly, but it has some very good parts about it. And one of them is when he's dying and he's like, you know, passing in and out of consciousness, and you keep seeing it from his point of view with like the fan swooping above him, as they're like trying to keep him cool. And then one of them says, you know, so, to whom do you leave your empire? And he sort of starts to mumble, and they all lean in, and you see it from like a shot from like the back of the room, as you just see all the generals like leaning over him, and you don't hear what he says. And then one of them goes, he said to the strongest, in like a really bold voice. And it was like, yes, he said to the strongest. And like one person goes, no, he said to Crateros. But the others are all going, yes, he said the strongest. Like as soon as it's, and I thought, yeah, that's really clever. Because did he? You know, we don't know, and that it plays with it just right, I think.
Yeah.
That it's open to us to decide whether he did say that or they chose to interpret it that way. I don't think I watched it.
Generals was just called Mr. Strong.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. And so, did he say to Mr. Strong or did he say to the strongest? I don't think I ever watched it. That had Anthony Hopkins, right? Yes, he plays the older Ptolemy the Great. Like, the story is told in retrospect, with Ptolemy the Great having it dictated in Alexandria, I think. If I remember right. It's also got Brian Blessed as Aristotle. What a choice! Right, kiddo. Hey, kiddo. Brian Blessed as Aristotle. I think they address Alexander's sexuality, kind of a bit. Allude to it.
Yeah.
Which is better than most. Like, normally that gets ignored.
Hmm.
They at least allude to it. It's not a good film though. Like I can't recommend the film as the thing to watch. I can't be like, yeah, you should totally watch. It's not very good. But yeah, it's got some good bits in it. But the battle scenes are well done. They're pretty, because they got like an actual ancient historian to consult for the battle scenes. And they're actually good.
Yeah.
With one exception. The depiction of the Persians is a little bit on the racist side. You know, it fits how people want to depict Persians rather than how they actually were.
Yeah.
Like, lots of the details about the Persians are right, but they deliberately make them, you know, mucky and cowardly, etc. No good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not gonna work. Also, Colin Farrell as Alexander the Great. Like, it's an interesting choice. Not who I would have cast. I mean, mind you, I've already said that they cast Brian Blessed as Aristotle. So I guess we're already going for interesting casting choices.
Yeah.
Alexander the Pretty alright. Yeah, that's exactly. We're 33 when he died, Alexander. 35? He weren't very old, were he?
No, somewhere in that region.
You know, we're talking Spartans, weren't we, about on Sunday?
Yeah.
And I just remembered that there's that thing that the Spartan fans always go on about, where Philip the Second, which is Alexander's dad, sent him an ultimatum, where he's like, should I come as a friend or as a foe? And they replied, neither. So he's kind of annoyed with it. It's like, if I come to Laconia, I will lay it waste. I will drive you out. I will destroy you. And they reply, and this is the thing people always talk about. The Spartans simply replied, if. Wow, that's cool and tough, right? They sure showed him. Except he did come. Well, in fact, he didn't come himself. He sent one of his generals. And they just completely laid it waste. So, like, everybody's like, yeah, they're so cool. They sure showed him by answering if. Yeah, but he just called him on it immediately. They didn't even wait. Just sent a general, like his lieutenant or something. They just like annihilated him. That's not. I mean, it's I guess it's a fun way, but a laconic way to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not a win. There's a YouTube channel, Overly Sarcastic Productions, that refused to name him the Great, and it's wonderful. Always coming up with new names for it. I like that. So was it Megos Alexandros, I think, in Greek. Yeah. He was certainly one of the leaders. I mean, he's a great general, but I don't agree with the association that makes someone like a great leader, or there's that whole thing. And like when people are talking about, like, we might say like a good king or something, they almost always cite like being good in battle.
Yeah.
I'm like it depends. I don't think that makes you a great leader.
War does not make one great.
Exactly. Wise words from a philosopher, no doubt.
There's probably an argument that like a certain amount of ability to defend your kingdom would be important.
Yeah, I think you make a case about that. And it depends. Like, I mean, there's a great leader, but like, what is great? Some people start talking about like who's a hero and so.
Yeah.
Like he killed a load of people. That might be a good soldier. I don't know. Make sure a hero.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one Roman emperor or general that retired to a farm and was then recalled to the army to lead again, or is that one of those false facts that keep circulating? There's a couple. There was what's his name? He's the one who like did the first big persecution of Christians. One of the first big Diocletian. He was one of those who like decided to round up Christians and have them killed. Like early on, when it was because he was a threat to Roman order. Diocletian was like basically completely reorganized the empire, created the whole Western Roman Empire thing, and then retired to, is it now Split in Croatia, which is where you can like go to Diocletian's palace. Like part of it's still it's still standing. It's been turned into like a hotel complex or something. You can stop there anyway. And he retired there and was when his reforms immediately fell apart, which they did. Turns out if you have 4 emperors, they're going to start fighting amongst themselves. Turns out. Like it immediately fell apart, and they like went to fetch him back, and he pulled up a cabbage, and said, supposedly, and said, when you have like, grown food with your own hands, you would never want to be an emperor again. This is all I need, or something like that, and refused to go. But I mean, also there's massive like class implications there. Like this to him was like a bit of fun luxury, rather than like the slaves who would normally be tending those crops for him. There's also an Cincinnatus, who was appointed dictator for like a certain time period. For whatever, I can't remember. There was some crisis. There's always crises in ancient Rome, aren't there? There was some crisis, and he was appointed dictator, and he did the job they needed him to do, and then handed back the powers before his term limit was over. Then there was like another crisis, so they like fetched him off his farm, which again he would be worked by slaves for him. They fetched him off his farm. He like did they appointed him dictator for like a year or whatever. Within less than a year, he solved the problem, handed the power back, and settled down. So it's probably Cincinnatus, which the city of Cincinnati in the US is indirectly named after. It's named after the Cincinnatus Society, who are named after the emperor, not the dictator. But yeah, it's probably Cincinnatus. Yeah, it's like Aurelius talking about Stoicism. Like, easy for you to say, dude, you're the emperor. Yeah, there's so much of that. Oh yeah, this is where it comes to an end. Like an unsafe ride. Like Marcus Aurelius wasn't even the they always talk about it as like the good emperor. I don't know, he had a lot of like people killed. Like for no reason. Well, not like they never like, get into the morality of our emperor is allowed to execute people. In our commune will there be executions?
Not of people who are still legally considered people.
I like that answer. That's both reassuring and ominous. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny that Diocletian's reforms immediately fell apart. This is just funny about that too. Like solve the crisis of the 3rd century. Oh, didn't work. Immediately turned on each other. It's like, it's the ultimate reason why the legions were withdrawn from Britannia as well. Because do you remember? Because we were talking about it at infant school. Do you remember what you were taught at infant school about why the legions were withdrawn from Britannia? I mean, you're going back to like 30 years, so I don't blame you if you don't remember it.
Yeah.
Also, like you're the maths person compared to me being the historian, so like doubly makes sense.
I mean, I would have said that we were taught that like the Roman Empire collapsed, and so they couldn't sustain their reach this far. Everything went wrong. But I feel like you're building up to a different thing that we were taught.
Well, yeah, basically we were taught more or less that the Roman Empire was unable to sustain forces this far out, so the legions were withdrawn to defend Rome. But that's not actually true.
Yeah.
The legions were withdrawn way before the final collapse of the Western Roman Empire. Did it collapse? That's a topic for discussion. But way before the end of that, it was like in the 430s or something, so about 40 years beforehand. And they were withdrawn because the Magister Militum Britannia, on the junior emperor, depending on the time period, the Kaiser for the Western Empire, kept using Britannia as a base to try and overthrow the emperor. Like, it just kept happening that whoever they put in charge of Britannia like led a revolt. Because it was remote, right? The Britannia is remote by Roman standards. So you've got time. You've got essentially an independent command over here, and you've got time to like go around and talk to people and say, "Hey, how do you fancy a bit of a revolt?" you're kind of away from the senators. You're away from the centers of power, and you can start fomenting trouble. And so the emperors eventually had enough, and like, stop it with all the revolts, withdrawing the legions from Britannia, like, no more. And then the whole province basically just like immediately collapsed, which is interesting. Because the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes immediately turned up.
Yeah.
Really kind of like, hi there. You have some things we wish to take. Also, we're going to live here because actually this is nicer than southern Denmark from an early medieval perspective. Oh, by the way, Foundation is an interesting sci-fi take on an empire and its collapse. I started watching it a few weeks ago. Second season is ongoing right now, based on the Asimov books. I've read the books, but like a long time ago. So it'd be interesting to see how. I remember us discussing them, in fact, many moons ago. But I've not seen the series. I don't know about you, Loomis.
No.
But it sounds interesting, doesn't it?
I know. I feel like it would be must be a very hard set of books to make into a series, given that you've got like century-long time skips, multiple times per book.
Yeah.
Not a lot of your cast is going to carry over.
Yeah. Oh, heck. This is what's his name? Is it Daniel Oliver? I guess he can. I'm not saying no more in case of spoilers, but like he's in a few of them, right? Oh, I guess there are some that don't skip all the time, right? Like you do get some books that like just focus on like the Asimov standing.
Yeah.
I always forget that character's name, but like the Asimov standing guy. Which is so obviously like a reflection of Asimov and his views of society. Like the bit when he gets into a fight with some teens over dropping rubbish.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously just like an old man. Old man yells at cloud. Just in a sci-fi setting. I agitate people from corporate all the time when they visit my branch office. You're the Britannia of your company then, be right. I'd rather be that way though. I'd rather be out that way and just left to your own devices. That feels better to me. Oh, I've done it again. I've over penetrated and wrecked the crops.
If only I'd been around to make that my pitch. Make me ruler of Britannia because I don't really want to come back.
Yeah, I will not try and overthrow the empire because I do not want to leave here. I am quite happy to be out of the way. Oh, I've gotten quite a few drunk and agreeing with me about stuff over the years, though. See, that's how it starts. That's how you launch your coup from Britannia to take over the Western Empire. Oh, go on, while we're doing it, my favourite facts. This is unfair because I'm a historian. When did the Roman Empire fall? There's like 8 answers. I'll accept any or all of them.
They define the Roman Empire.
There we go, that's the first question, yeah. What do you... I mean, essentially, it's your John Peterson stuff, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by Roman? Wait, need to be more like Kermit. What do you mean by Roman? What do you mean by empire? What do you mean by fall? Right, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That was my best John Peterson yet, and it was atrocious. That feels fitting.
Yeah. More splintered than fell.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do we...
Each bit considers itself to be the true successor of the Roman Empire.
Absolutely.
And then had their own things going on for a very long time.
Yeah, and of course what you then get is splinters being taken over by somebody else, who then considers themselves the heir to the Roman Empire. You know, like the Ottoman sultans, calling themselves, the sultans of Rome. That's nowhere near.
I
Yes.
didn't conquer Rome to not be the emperor of Rome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Orthodox Church, or at least in the Russian Empire and that, claiming to be the third Rome, claiming to be the heirs to the Roman Empire. The Catholic Church, I think you can make a claim to. That was actually my argument, because in a lecture, seminar in my third year of uni, the lecturer asked us, like, when did the Roman Empire fall? Right? And you got people saying, well, it didn't fall. It was transformed, it didn't fall, and it was the Eastern Roman Empire, but that and the other. And I said, it hasn't yet. And she's like, oh, go on, Narelon, make your case. And I was like, well, the Pope wears, like, Roman imperial garb, like the Pope's formal regalia, not like the day dress, not just that like, white robe with the shoulders, but the Pope's formal regalia is that of a late Roman emperor. Like the papal tiara, which they don't wear anymore, was based on the late Roman imperial crown. The way that the popes used to be carried on litters until the 70s is based on the late Roman emperor. They wear the red shoes of late Roman emperors. They use Latin. I was like, they have essentially preserved those imperial traditions. Now, I wouldn't, like, in all seriousness, say they are the Roman Empire, but I think it represents a bizarre continuation.
Sorry, I'm just the one line out of context. He wears the red shoes of the Roman emperor.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's one of those like bizarre sumptuary laws, isn't it? Yeah. Only the emperor gets to wear the red shoes. So you're saying Dorothy is the Empress of Rome and the Wizard of Oz, then? Yes, I am. The Wizard in Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz represents a continuation of imperial custom. In this essay, I will. But I've heard Romanians claim they're the legitimate continuation of the Roman Empire because their language is closest to Latin out of all of the modern Latin-derived languages. I'd believe it. I'd believe that that's a claim. Every man and his dog claims to be the continuation of Rome. Which is actually a discussion on its own, right? Like, why is it that Rome holds such an impact on us? Why is it that everybody's trying to copy Rome all the time? I mean, look at the Americans. Like, look at the US official buildings. Look at the symbol of the Senate, which is the fast gaze. The symbol of the Roman Senate. It's like a very conscious reproduction of Roman custom art. I've no idea. I'm just some barbarian Slav. Yeah, because what is now Slovenia was in the Eastern Empire, right? But the Slavs actually came in afterwards. If my geography in my head is accurate, it was like part of the provinces down there. Technically, we're like barbarians as well, aren't we? Because we're descendants of Germans and Danes. Because we're northern, we're also descendants of Danes. Yeah, we came here around the 6th century or something. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the dim memory I'd got. So I'm glad that adds up. Yeah, I've got like some point I was going to make then. I mean, what was it? It was about Rome, probably. Oh, it's one of my favourite things. Attila the Hun. Obviously, we're all familiar with Attila the Hun, at least in reputation. And he plundered the Eastern Roman Empire, But he drove off a lot of the barbarians. Right, you know, he pushed the Goths and Gepids and so on westwards into the Roman Empire, which, yeah, you know, you like started the decline of the Roman Empire, but it was already in decline, but whatever. But yeah, so he like rampaged around what is now like Eastern Europe, demanding money off the Eastern Roman emperors, and their response was just to shut the gates at Constantinople and tell him to take off. They were just like, no. That he's like, but you're supposed to like give me money to stop pillaging your empire. And they're like, you know, we don't care. We don't care about the Balkan provinces. Like, you can't get to Constantinople. You can't get through Constantinople, and that means you can't get to the rest of the empire. Bye-bye. But we're ravaging. Don't care. Take it somewhere else, pal. Which you promptly did by invading Western Roman Empire. There's Roman, I don't know what they're called, like pillars that tell you something about local plagues all over Slovenia from before we came here. We call them plague signs, but I don't think the literal translation makes sense in English. Oh, that's really interesting. I wonder if that's the plague of Justinian. Because that was in the 6th century? That'd be early 6th century, actually. And there's a really devastating plague that swept across the Roman Empire. The Mediterranean world in general. Oh, excuse me. I hiccuped really strongly. I don't know a single local that gives a shit about it. They're just tourist photo spots now. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you like sat on the history, it don't grab you as much, does it?
Yeah, you absorb enough of it that you don't notice the interesting parts that you haven't absorbed.
Yeah. I'm trying to exert a bit of control to not turn it into just like Nair talks about history constantly. Because it could happen. This is something we have to be wary of.
Control your power.
Well, you see and when.
I was very well behaved when people asked about it the other day.
You were? I was impressed, actually. You did really well. You obviously fought the urge. Where am I going to put stations? When there's much glass. I was having a thought earlier, by the way, while I was working. I was thinking about Wonder Woman. You've never seen it, have you? The film.
I have not.
There's a bit where she like yeets a Mark. I think it's like a Mark IV tank. You know the great big rhomboid tanks. And she like picks it up by I think it's by the track horns, and like wangs it. You know, it's obviously a demonstration of strength because those things weigh like 20 tons or 40 tons or whatever they are. I'll admit I forget. If there are any tread heads in the chat, then I'll be happy with me. I can't remember the exact weight of a Mark IV. It's very heavy. Anyway, she like picks it up and like, you know, chucks it. And it looks kind of tat, honestly. Excuse me. Sorry, I was sneezing. Like it just doesn't look very good on screen. You know, it looks a bit corny because she like picks up the tank and like wangs it around.
Yeah.
And I was comparing that in my head to my favourite scene from Captain America: Civil War, which you may already know what I'm going to talk about. Which is when Captain America bicep kills the helicopter. Because that's a good scene. I like that scene.
Physics in it are terrible.
He holds on to the thing and then bicep kills the helicopter down to himself. I don't know what physics you need. You're also, if I can say, I don't think you're the intended audience for that scene.
Yeah.
yeah, so go on. It's part of the discussion. Go on. Tell us about what's wrong with the physics.
It's been a long time since I've seen the scene, so I might be describing it wrong from memory. But like, he's not properly braced for it, right? Like, the helicopter outmasses him, so even if he's stronger than the helicopter, he should be pulling himself up to the helicopter, not the helicopter down to him.
He grabs onto the landing skid as it's taking off, trying to like pull on it, and it just kind of takes him with it. Like he jumps onto the skids, so it tips it, which that makes sense, right? Because helicopters are actually always trying to crash, is the description I've heard about helicopter. They're constantly trying to crash, and you have to battle to keep them in the air. And that tips it enough that he then grabs hold of the metal like thing on the landing pad with one arm, and then Bicep kills it down to himself with the other.
Okay.
Because he initially tries to pull on it, and it, like you say, he doesn't go anywhere. So he changes his grip, like locks his arm onto it, and then Bicep kills it. So I like that scene. It's yeah, just want to put it out there. I'll just catch up with chat, and then I'll carry on with that discussion. It's been a few years since I looked into it, but a few rivers and possibly other place names here are presumed to be of Celtic origin. I like that a lot more than any Roman stuff. Yeah, I think that's entirely fair. I like those pre-Roman origins because the Romans were a horrible imperial power. They committed genocide, I would argue, and that's a whole other conversation that I've had with Gwen in Kira's chat, Kira's community, a number of times. When we have what Kira described as when Gwen and Nair have a history mind meld. So, yeah, that's fair. And Cassie says a Mark IV male weighs a little over 28 metric tons. Thank you, Cassie. So, yeah, so like she picks up fairly handily a Mark IV by one of the track horns and swats it about, and that's 28 tons. Which, like, sure, she's super strong. I get that's the point, but it just because they're so big, because obviously they're designed to cross trenches, right? So they're like however many 20 odd foot long. So it just looks weird because it's like 3 times our height. And it looks really, it kind of breaks my suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, clearly the bicep killing helicopter thing does for you too, but you know. Here we are. Can't win them all.
I feel like if you picked up one of those tanks by like one side of it, you'd probably end up making the whole thing buckle.
Yeah, they're not like designed for that, are they?
Yeah.
I mean, they're quite internally braced, but certainly bits are going to break if you do that. So then we should start swatting it about. And Cassie says, a helicopter is a million parts looking for a place to crash. Just a quote. And if the wings are moving faster than the fuselage, it's probably a helicopter and definitely unsafe. Cassie knows about planes and aircraft. So I was glad she chimed in with that. So I'm not an aircraft person. Cassie, do you think it'd be possible to bicep curl a helicopter? If you were Captain America.
I might be misremembering the scene. I remember him like sliding across the landing pad, slapping at the floor as he tried to pull it down.
He does, yeah. Like when he first grabs hold of the skid, he's like trying to pull the helicopter and like nothing happens. As the helicopter's just like dragging him along. Because he's tipped it, right? So it can't lift off properly.
No. Oh boy.
Hello?
I'm in combat.
Oh, where are you?
Beast marker.
Oh, that's miles away. What are you in combat with? Are you gonna die?
No, I'm okay now.
Okay.
It was close. They attacked me in bed with me not having any armor on.
Yeah, that's just an assassination attempt, isn't it?
Yeah. My health went down very quickly there. But once I got clear, just shot him full of arrows.
Ah, nice. There we go. I don't really recall the scene too well. Yeah, that's fair enough. Captain America grabs hold of a helicopter and then Bicep kills it down. If I were Captain America, I'd just elope with my boyfriend Bucky Barnes. Long hair version, obviously. Yeah, I mean, that's just like the thing that makes sense. They're like, never mind the superhero business. Like, what are you doing with your life? Also, yes, I agree. Long hair Wookie. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have done this far.
Ah.
Yeah, it's probably fine. That's her, sir. Well, that's her.
Just there's skeletons now.
Nah. Does happen, I suppose.
I'm just gonna keep my armor on, I guess.
Probably safer. I can't guarantee you safety outside the high hay. For legal reasons, I can't guarantee you safety within the high hay either.
Depending on your definition of high hay, it's technically within it.
Ah. Well, there you go. I say for legal purposes.
Yeah, so what you're saying is there's a pretense of physics in the Marvel version.
Yes, that was it. So obviously I know that the MCU films have their own issues. I'm not saying otherwise. But yeah, there's like an attempt to show that, like, how it works and how he can't just pull it down like he tries. Because he initially does just try like pulling it towards him and he gets pulled by it. And then like has to brace himself before he does it. And of course he pulls it down enough so that the rotors hit the helipad.
Yeah.
Which just smashes them to bits, of course, and then
Okay.
the helicopter crashes. So that solves that problem.
I barely remember Civil War at all. I think it's probably the most forgettable of the MCU films.
I mean, I've probably seen some others. Thor: The Dark World, or as I heard it called once, Thor: The Dark Thor. And I just started referring to it as that because people don't really call you on it because they think you've just misspoken. But you see that look in their eyes of should I point it out to him that he said Thor: The Dark Thor? Just deadpan it. Yeah, in Thor: The Dark Thor, people don't know how to react. What did I come in here for? Cooking.
I mean, part of me wants to do the bit and be like, what's on the Dark World, etc. Like, it's more forgettable than Civil War, so I've actually forgotten it.
Sure.
But no, I'd say that film was more memorable to me than Civil War.
No, fair enough. I don't mind it that much. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, it depends what you want from a film, I guess.
Like, I don't think it was particularly great.
No.
I think it was a disappointment after the first Thor, which I felt was one of the stronger MCU films.
I think as well, you've always got that problem. Pre and post Avengers. Like, I think once they do, which, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, I think it's a fun film, Avengers Assemble, as it was released in the UK. Once you get that, they all start to fall into a pattern.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, this really works. Let's do that more. I don't recognize Thor prior to Ragnarok. Yeah, I like Thor Ragnarok. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed I think the first few. I mind you, there's Iron Man 2, which is like fine. It's got Elon Musk in it, which is yeah. I do like though that like Tony Stark just like, what is happening over there?
I guess it got dark enough that these spiders I was casually chilling with turned hostile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. But yeah, I mean, at least like Tony Stark's quite dismissive of him, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk is clearly trying to like desperately get his attention, and he's like, yeah, we'll talk about your electric plane or whatever. Which is good, but the fact that he's in it at all, no.
Yeah. It's kind of meta in a way that in universe, Musk clearly thinks he's a big deal who's going to get along with the great Tony Stark, and Tony Stark doesn't care in the slightest. But like out of universe, Musk probably thinks that he's like super awesome for being in the Iron Man films, despite the fact that the Iron Man film makes fun of him for being some nerd that Tony Stark doesn't care about in the slightest.
Yeah. For me, that's like the redeeming thing about having him in that film, because I don't know what he thought. Like, I don't know what he thought. You know how it's supposed to come across, but Tony Stark seems really dismissive.
Yeah.
Like, he pretty much just like, yeah, whatever, electric planes or something. So I quite like that. I mean, although I don't want to see Musk at all.
No.
I wish they'd just make the movies fun adventure ramps instead of building some grand franchise. Absolutely. I think the MCU films have been strongest when they have done like superheroes in X genre. You know, like when they've done, I don't know, like Ant-Man. I know it's got some, like a lot of cringe humor and stuff, but I think it's the one that pulls it off best, because that's kind of how Ant-Man comes across. And that's a heist film, basically, with superheroes, and like Captain America and the Winter Soldier is like a spy thriller, but with superheroes. Like, I think that's where they do quite well, and I think that's quite an interesting way to take it as well. I'm not owned, Elon says, slowly shrinking into a corn husk. Everybody loved me in Iron Man 2. I was the star of the show. I liked the Loki show too. It had a great vibe of its own. I've not seen that. Now, my brother did give me mum and dad for Christmas some money. My brother and his family. Some money to pay towards a streaming service so that like we could see some of the stuff they'd seen and like talk about it and stuff. It was something that the kids wanted as well. I say we, it was like mum and dad, but I think we all know I was going to like watch this stuff at mum and dad's. So we're going to we're going to put that probably towards Disney Plus, so we can kind of like watch the Marvel stuff that Disney, and Star Wars stuff that my niece and nephew have seen that I haven't. Mum and dad haven't. So I'd be interested to see, look, because I've heard really good things about it. They've still not done the Marvel property that I want them to do most, though. Like, not my favourite villain. We already know what my favourite villain is. Nor even my second favourite villain. Although I think there's a lot of room for Big Wheel in Modern Marvel. I wanted a dude who got turned down for a loan at the bank and so built a giant wheel to ride over the bank. Yeah, but no, I tell you what, pauses. The property I want is Frog Thor. I want a film about Frog Thor. That's what I want. Like, see one of the scenes where Thor's fighting on Earth, big thing, or even just where Mjolnir got destroyed by Hela in Thor Ragnarok, right? That's on Earth. And then there's a frog. Hop, hop. Oh, touches a shard of Mjolnir. It's a worthy frog for some reason. Becomes Thor.
Whoa, what the? What?
Was that an IRL jump or a Minecraft jump?
I put down my bed and it turned into 2 blocks of plowed dirt.
Sorry, what? Where are you? I need to see this.
It's turned back now, but there was a moment where it was 2 blocks of. Yeah, I popped down my bed to see if it was dark enough to sleep yet. It's about that time. And it made hoe noises, and the hoe in my inventory jumped into my hand, and my bed vanished, and there was 2 blocks of dirt, of plowed dirt in front of me.
What?
Yeah.
What? Like, does it work? Or do you like plant yourself if you try and sleep in it?
Well, that's what I tried. I right-clicked on it, and that's when it changed back into a bed.
That sounds like something out of the Book of Exodus in the Bible. You know, with snakes turning into sticks and vice versa.
Yeah.
Christians don't talk much about the whole thing when like Moses turns a snake stick into a snake, right? You know, God's like, chuck your stick down and I'll turn it into a snake. We'll spook the Pharaoh. But then Pharaoh's magicians do the same in the Book of Exodus, right? They're like, yeah, big deal. Boom, we can do that too. Nobody ever talks about that.
Yeah.
There are theological implications that never get discussed. Based wheel, yeah, definitely. So.
Yeah, I mean, the law implications there are massive. Like that. That scene pretty much explicitly states that there are other gods, they're just not as powerful, and that severely clashes with later lore, and it's never properly addressed. I feel.
Yeah, that's it. It's you got to wonder like, did they change writers or like, or what did they create this plot hole? This YouTube video, it's 4 hours long. I'll discuss the lore implications of this plot hole. To catch up on chat, I need to hear more about this guy, which is Big Wheel, says Cassie. Yeah, like I know very little about Big Wheel other than he got turned off like it's like a loan or a mortgage, and so he responds by building this giant wheel that he like pilots from inside, and just like careens around like smashing things, in order to get revenge. I think he's an enemy of Spider-Man.
That tracks.
And so like
that sounds about right.
Yeah, that fits, doesn't it? And yeah, Spider-Man has to like stop him like crushing the bank or something. Not very based Spider-Man. Let Big Wheel crush the bank. I love how Mjolnir gets destroyed with so little fanfare in that movie. Yeah, just like Thor just yeets Mjolnir at Hela and she just smashes it. Time to move on. So yeah, I want Shadow Mjolnir picked up by a frog. Like, it's canon. He's in Marvel canon. I want my frog Thor. He doesn't have to fight Swarm, the swarm of bees controlled by the ghost of a Nazi. But like, I'm just saying he could. Like, he doesn't have to. I'm just saying that he could. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Let's do that, shall we? I think the Bible, or maybe the Torah, mentions sicknesses that can affect houses or other places that make sort of mold-like rifts/holes in walls that look deeper than should be physically possible for the wall. Pre-Lovecraftian Lovecraft horror. Yeah, there's some weird stuff in the... I say weird, but in like Leviticus or wherever it is, where it goes through this stuff about mold and how deep it gets within the wall, and there's like it goes on for quite a while about different colours molds and what you can and should. And now there's some of them where if you get this certain kind of mold, it may even be the ones that are deeper than it should be. You just have to burn your house down. Just burn your house down. Don't even try. Don't try and like get rid of it. Just burn it down. Which kind of lends to the Lovecraftian style horror, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stations. I don't know if that works. It might do.
Maybe Big Wheel makes me think of the Clock King from Batman.
Oh yeah, one of my favourite Batman villains.
I think I'll always defend it as one of the best episodes of the animated series. The one where he's introduced.
Oh yeah.
I mean, above all else, he's just incredibly stylish. He's just this well-dressed guy with a giant clock hand as a cane, and it's just the way he moves and swoops around. Like, he's this really gentle, nerdy-looking guy, but he's like he's memorized the timing of everything. He'll never misstep or bump into something because he knows exactly where and how everything is.
I get you.
So all his movements are so incredibly fluid, in contrast to what you expect from him.
Nice. Okay.
It looks very cool. But also, like, his entire motivation is that somebody made him late one day.
Wait, really?
Yeah. In all his life, he's never been late. He's incredibly strict about that. Everything is on time. Everything is done exactly right. And then one day, somebody makes him late. And
That's enough.
yeah. Like, there's this whole thing to it. Like, he's made late to he's like a legal advisor, and he's made late to a court hearing, and his client loses the case as a result, and the company goes out of business. He loses his job, etc., etc. And like, much later when he's the Clock King and he's doing all these crimes against the guy who made him late, Batman's like, obviously this destroyed your life, so you're furious about it, and I suppose you probably suspect that the guy made you late on purpose to make you lose the court case, and etc., etc. And the guy's like, I don't care about any of this. I'm just mad that he made me late, and the city will burn.
Oh, that's brilliant. This is like a purity, a simplicity in that.
Yeah.
And I think I've probably gone backwards and forwards a little bit on it. But I think my favourite is probably Colonel Gum, the stamp collector.
Yeah.
Just because, he's a stamp collector. He's an evil stamp collector. I mean, I don't think I need to justify that in any way. He's an evil stamp collector. This whole thing. Although I also like any of the bizarre ones, like Calendar Man. Yeah. The Bad Samaritan. He's actually my favourite. As I say, I go back into forwards on this. There's so many ridiculous villains. Just catching my chat. I think Jacob Geller on YouTube did a whole video on like malevolent spaces / places. Bit of an underused horror trope, I think. Yeah, I think there's definitely room for that. And at some point I'll have to tell the anecdote of a place I went to that felt malevolent. Which is like very hard to explain and sounds really like superstitious and bizarre. But it did feel genuinely evil. I've never experienced anything like it. You know what? I relate to Clock King. Maybe that's it. But yeah, Bad Samaritan. That's actually my favourite Marvel DCU villain. Because like, he's just like a bad Samaritan. He just does bad deeds to strangers. Well, that's his whole thing. He's a good Samaritan but bad. It's just so like shoehorned in. Instead of helping strangers, he harms strangers. I mean, that's not any, but that's basically most villains, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, he's just doing like petty things. But yeah, I mean, I like Kangol the Stamp Collector. I like King Tut, who, if I remember rightly, doesn't he like bang his head and become convinced he's actually a pharaoh? And like, just people go along with it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it happens on like a monthly basis. About once a month, he bumps his head and decides he's King Tut. And like, this is a known thing in universe that this guy repeatedly has the exact same accident and convinces himself that he's a pharaoh.
oh yeah, he's at it again.
Yeah.
He's off thinking his Tutankhamun again.
And henchmen flock to him every time.
That's what I always liked about it. I know it's like practically a spoof, but it's what I always liked about the Adam West Batman is that like you've always got the henchmen and they're always dressed up appropriately.
Yeah.
Like, Catwoman's the villain of the week. They've all got cat ears on. Oh, whoa. It's King Tut. They're all wearing ancient Egyptian headdresses. and addressing him as like son of the gods or whatever. Whose turn is it this week? Oh, it's what's his name? Is it Green Arrow? Who is it who thinks he's Robin Hood? That's not Green Arrow. That's somebody else. The one who thinks he's Robin Hood, anyway, or behaves like Robin Hood. They're all dressed in medieval, like faux medieval peasant garb this week because this guy thinks he's Robin Hood. In the episode, by the way, he's defeated by Alfred. Alfred defeats the guy who thinks he's Robin Hood.
That sounds about right.
Because Alfred was apparently known as the William Tell of Liverpool. So he foils it.
Here's the Adam West version that gave me the headcanon, which I think holds up pretty well in regular Batman. But, like, most of the supervillains are not crazy. But if you don't seem like you're crazy, you can't compete with big names like the Joker. So you gotta have a gimmick to get by in today's Gotham.
I get it. It's like a marketing thing.
Yeah.
You gotta do something because everybody knows that like villains act like the Joker, so that's what a villain acts like now. Yeah. Pirat says, for once I'd like to see a villain defeated by a unionization hero, just as their henchmen form a union against the villain. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. See how well they fare without their henchmen. I like that. Apparently, this is technically spoilers, I guess, but apparently they recreated using like AI or whatever, Adam West for the Flash film.
Yeah.
Because the Flash, he's like marauding around different universes or different multiverses or whatever, and like he comes across all the different Batmen. And one of them is Adam West. For like a split second, and a lot of people were pretty unhappy about it. Because they were like, you're just like using his image after his death to push a film that apparently is not very good, and also the star was done some crimes, haven't they? And I believe, are they still on the run from the law? I mean, like obviously ACAB and everything, but like they've done some serious harm, so like maybe we shouldn't. Promote them. I always love the Hank Scorpio trope, the supervillain who's genuinely the best an employer they can be to their employees. I really like that. It's one of my favourite episodes of The Simpsons as well. With Hank Scorpio. You only move twice, right? If they didn't put a Nick Cage Superman into that movie, they should just throw it in the trash. Yeah, absolutely. Like we need... If you're gonna do that, you might as well have Nick Cage Superman, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like he nearly was, wasn't he? With the just photos of him in the gear. So like, yeah, that's what you need. Yeah, you only move twice. Amazing episode. Yeah, I'll let you, Jesse.
Yeah, one of the best episodes in all of Simpsons.
Yeah, I just love the way Hank Scorpio is portrayed, like his mannerisms and everything. I just thought I semi-regularly think, when particularly people are talking about like Scorpio as the sign or whatever, I think about stuff like where he says, "Thank you, Mr. Scorpion." It's not Mr. Scorpion, it's Mr. Scorpio. Don't call me Mr. Scorpion. It's Mr. Scorpio, and don't call me Mr. Scorpio. Call me Hank. Like I just love the pointlessness of that first correction. Just like stuff like that, I just think it's really fun. I'm not enough beets. Have I got enough carrots? I'll find some. Renfield had a few scenes of some classic black and white Dracula movie recreated with Nick Cage in the first few minutes, and I wish that was just the entire movie. That sounds good. Exactly. Nick Cage is brilliant, like because he's terrible. And I love him for it. We used to have. Do you remember that "you don't say" meme? Do you remember that going a long time ago?
Yeah.
You don't say that. We used to have a great big one of them in our office. Because the fellow I worked with was obsessed with that face. So we ended up printing it off, and it just used to move around the office. This huge picture, this huge like line drawing, I guess, isn't it? 'Cause it's like a rage comic face of Nick Cage going, just like with "you don't say" written on it. One of his colleagues used to get right fed up. You know the one who was like 4 foot tall. Because she was incredibly irritable anyway. Yeah, and she used to get really fed up at him appearing in different places. It's I'll be right, says someone used to set people's development environment backgrounds to that face at work years ago. We never figured out. We used to have a VDI. We've got like actual desktops now. We used to have VDIs. And so every day he would set his desktop, because it would change every day, right, when you logged back on. He would set his background, his background to that Nicolas Cage face. That was like first thing he did in the morning. I mean, you're always late. I've told about him before. You're always late. He'd get in. He'd set, turn computer on, go and get a drink, push snap it, fridge, all mess about like that, and then he'd set Nicolas Cage before he'd do anything else. Cassie says one of my favourite Simpson jokes is from that episode. You ever see a man? You ever see a man say goodbye to a shoe? Yes, once. I'm still unsure if it's funnier to think that once Homer has seen that being just moments before when Hank threw his shoe, or if he actually did see it one other time. Yeah, I don't know. I always took it as the very moment, but yeah, I don't know which is funnier. Because I think it's like the "if I had 2 nickels" thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is so Homer's so nonchalant about it as well. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, yes, once. It's just so casual. I love it. That episode has a lot of my favourite jokes. Homer being responsible for Bond's death, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then proudly telling his family, "I tackled a loafer at work today." Really, like, he's audibly machine gunned.
Yeah.
I just don't notice. And like all the casual, like, sorry.
After he does it, good work, Homer. When you go home today, there'll be an extra story on your house.
Yeah. I love all the stuff like that. Like when Homer just like, he's like, he's really pleased with himself and says to his family over dinner, Hank says, we're way ahead of the weather machine and germ warfare divisions. And nobody like questions it. Nobody comments on it or anything. It's just weather machine and germ. Just like nobody reacts. I mean, I know they've all got their own things going on, but still.
Yeah.
I guess it's we've seen the meme going around at the minute where it's an alien being like, "We are real," and the person doesn't really react. He's like, "Yeah," and the alien's like, "Aren't you surprised? Man, I've got a lot of things going on right now." I'm just like, what if I look? I'm just wandering around aimlessly. I'm working out where I want to put the stations. So I definitely want one at the keep because that's where I live.
Yeah.
So I've got to have one there. One at the station because obviously. One at the gates. You got 2 entrances, so it makes sense to have one there on that corner. If you're coming in on foot, you can just you can from East Market to that other gate that we don't really use anymore, and you can just hop straight down. One near the hospital, I guess, so we can continue to shunt ill people through the transit tubes, as is our want. Oh, we got a zombie and the snowman again. Go on.
Hit Christmas song. There's a zombie in the snowman again.
I love that we never prevent that either. Like we could just put a torch in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little tradition. Because I took it straight. I don't know if... I know I can put it there. It's alright. Like it's a precarious place for a station, but I can do it. It's no problem. I mean, whether it can... It's like an act of tremendous hubris, you know.
I mean, if it's not, why bother?
Well, exactly. That's kind of the point of these things. Yoink. We don't need more bone powder, but you know, it was just like the thing was full. It was just there.
Yeah. Feed it into the engine, the bamboo engine.
I'm taking it over right now. Spin here, I guess. There we go. I'm going to assume I've put that in the right slot. It's probably fine. These things tend to sort themselves out anyway. Obviously we need, I mean, we've kind of already got one partially built outside the factory. We're very environmentally friendly. I just kind of looked up and it's like lit up in the night sky. Just got this huge building with these enormous chimneys just like puthering out smoke. Yeah, we're here to help. I'm happy with the supports. I'm happy with how that's coming on.
I think I sort of figured out what went on with the plowed dirt.
Oh yeah.
Because I've had a couple of similar things happen now.
Oh.
So I had a hoe in my left hand.
Hmm.
And as you may be aware, you can take actions with your left hand, but only if you don't have something in your right hand.
Yes.
And apparently that includes if your right hand is busy doing other things.
Oh, okay.
Like, so I was walking along just now, and I was eating with my right hand while having the hoe in the left hand. And in between taters, I accidentally hoed a patch of dirt.
Oops.
Because I guess my right hand was in its cool down period.
Yeah, okay.
So it bumped to the left hand. So I think what happened is that I put down the bed and then it immediately noticed that I had the action button down and had nothing in my right hand. So as the bed was appearing, it then hoed the bed.
Okay. Okay. Have you been able to reproduce it?
I haven't really tried though. Let me see if I can. Not that specific one anyway. Let me see if I can do that again.
I thought you were just telling Pharaoh to set your people free. That's how you'd turn the bed into plowed soil.
I can't seem to get it to happen again. I imagine the timing has to be like very precise.
Yeah.
Like probably there was a moment of lag or something at that exact point.
Yeah.
That confused it.
Which is like just enough to
Yeah.
allow it to happen. Maybe perhaps otherwise shouldn't have done.
Like Yeah, because I think it has to be like the hoe has to activate between the bed leaving my hand, but before the bed appears on the ground.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it functionally can't happen under normal circumstances.
Hmm. Maybe we could force it by setting off the bamboo. Just to set it down.
I mean, I'm willing to try if you wanted to.
We could give it a go. Let me just buy up over here, and then I'll head over.
Sure, thank you. Because I'm probably not going to work anymore on the transit tubes this week. That's like enough for now. We've got about 10 minutes or so left, haven't we? And then we'll.
Yeah. I'm just stacking up on materials from the masons to
Nice.
hopefully next thing I'll do is finish the roof of the temple.
Oh, very nice. Which temple?
The light temple. Although I still need to go back and do some work on the dark temple.
I'm just going to go over to the light temple now. People might not have seen it. You know, we've got more people in these days than when you built it. It's full of mushrooms, you know, the antechamber.
Yeah, it perpetually is. I don't know. Maybe I need more torches or something.
I mean, certainly, like, by scale, I mean, look how dark it is in here. Well, you'd have to put, like, lights on walls or something, aren't you?
Yeah, I will do.
Like, by sheer size, it's the biggest thing certainly we've got, I think, ever seen.
Yeah.
So you got a chasm,
Mm-hmm.
stained glass window. You got this going on. You got mushrooms all over your organ pit as well, you know.
Really?
It's mouldy as heck in there.
Why are the mushrooms so ferocious in that one location?
I don't know. I know others. Yeah, I mean the antechamber's full on it. Like the nave has got like a whole patch just completely covered in mushrooms. You got an infestation of mold.
Like, do I have the torches too far apart? Because I thought they were
Playing the two.
regulation 6 blocks.
There are gaps where there's none. But in the area where the mushrooms are, I think it perhaps just needs some more like around the corners and stuff where the shadows are gathering.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's enough.
Probably the mushrooms are appearing in the dark areas and then spreading to the dimmer ones.
Yeah, because they're not like immediately around the torches, but so they wouldn't come on their own. But I guess there's enough patches that dim enough that they can grow into the patches once they start in the darkness.
Yeah. But yeah, when it's done, it should be much more well lit. It's supposed to be very, very bright when it's done.
Nice. Hence light temple.
There's a lot more to do on it. Like, I deliberately aimed for it to be like a huge project that I could blink at for a long time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, after all, that's just the entrance chamber.
Well, exactly. This can be like one of those medieval castles where it looks really impressive and you find out that like all the towers were supposed to be several stories higher. And they just ran out of money or effort. And so just like put the crenellations on there. Like, close enough. Oops. It's like all of the ring. Is it the Ring of Steel, did they call it? Those castles in North Wales. Built by Edward I. Like they're all just like unfinished. Yeah, fuck it, it'll do. Exactly, guys. That was basically it. Like, it's fine. The thing is, it is because like 9 times out of 10, you're not actually defending a castle. Like most castles spend most of their like existence not being involved in any combat.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is that you don't want to attack a castle. Like we're just gonna stop in here and people are gonna like run out of supplies faster than us, so don't try it.
Yeah.
Well, they're still impressive as it is. So I guess it works. So that's their main purpose, isn't it? To impress. I went to Elmsley Castle with Mum and Dad while we were away. And, I was, you got a historian on hand, and I can't help myself. I was like giving a bit of a spiel, kind of explaining stuff as we went round. My mum in particular asking questions, what's this bit for? Why did they build that? Hi, Loomis.
Hi. Put some of this stuff away.
Cool. We're talking about it and explaining what we're all about. And my mum said she found it essentially a radicalizing experience because it drove home for her about the historical and present inequalities of class. The rich Billocks were building these giant castles and living in luxury within them, while people were living very poor lives and suffering. And there was there's a notice board up in there about how Lord whoever, the Lord of Helmsley, one of the French name because obviously he was a Norman knight. He built the town of Helmsley from scratch because it was near where he wanted to build his castle. And there was had so many houses built and a mill and stuff like that. And everybody within the area had to have their corn, their wheat, ground into flour at his mill and pay for the privilege. And everybody who lived in the area had to pay him for the privilege, and everybody who traded anything had to pay him for the privilege. And he built all these facilities with the explicit thing that they had to pay him to use them, and it was a legal requirement that they use them.
Yeah.
And remember, it's just so oppressive, so exploitative. And what's changed, his descendants are still in charge.
Yeah.
Obviously Helmsley's now its own thing, but they still own a load of land around there. There's a big hall just up the road that is owned by his descendants. It's all just carried on. The sort of class system in action.
Yeah.
I was history is in and of itself. Some people like to try and they'll exaggerate historical events or distort the history, just to get the point across, to sort of really try and drive home to people about what's bad about, I don't know, the royal family or the British Empire or whatever it might be. But you don't need to, because the events stand on their own as awful.
Yeah.
That's my thing. First of all, we should just do stuff accurately because that's the right thing to do, in my opinion. Secondly, if you're telling inaccurate details, people can call you out on it, and that undermines everything else you're saying. But mainly, we just don't need to.
Yeah.
That stalactite's getting a lot bigger.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's really taking off. Look at that. Okay. So, how are we going to do this? You're going to play the bed. But we need to.
I wanted to play it during the lag from everything breaking.
So, we've got, obviously the stream is on a lag, but we've got a near instantaneous voice connection, right?
Yeah.
So if I count down, I guess, and I'll do it, and then you can shut the bed down as the lag spike hits.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll do, I'll count down to 1 and then go. I'm not going to go on 1. I'm going to go just after it.
Okay.
Just for clarity. So 3, 2, 1. He just went to sleep. I didn't see any distortion of reality, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Need to gather this bamboo, though. Worth a try.
Yeah.
It could have been there's also a general server lag or something as well.
Yeah. I also wonder if would climbing immediately into the bed interrupt it, or I suppose probably not, because if the bed's down, then he shouldn't be able to do that anyway. So.
Yeah. I think my favourite thing to tell people about when discussing the Empire is Operation Legacy, or crimes. What crimes? Yeah, absolutely. Just cover everything up, and then we can be nope, nothing happened. And we don't know what was covered up either. So if you don't know, Operation Legacy was a deliberate attempt during the decolonisation kind of process to destroy records that would make the UK look bad. So we don't actually know what was destroyed or what we don't know.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know. It could be something that, just put my historian's hat on. It could be something as trivial as tax records, how much money was being handled and where it was going, or we can be covering up, very serious atrocities. and we'll just never know. I assume it's more the latter, but to do the historians thing of being like, because I just talked about doing it, we don't know, but it can't be good if they manage to cover it up. If the Empire was so good and beneficial, why did they destroy as many of their records as they could? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a reason they did that. And I don't think it's because everything was nice. And yeah, you can just tell people that. And like, we don't need to distort it. We don't need to like invent stuff or come up with spurious figures, because some people do that. Like there's a lot of speculation, for example, about how much money was extracted. How much money was extracted from British India, from the kind of the dominance of the East India Company being established in the mid 18th century, through to decolonisation, independence in 1948. 47? I always get it wrong. It's 47 or 48. 47. And like people speculate based on like historical GDPs and stuff. And like, yeah, I can understand why you would want to, but those figures are so vague and inaccurate that I'm always like, again, with the historian hat firmly on, I'm always sort of a bit, I don't know, we can't know, I'm certain. But like, you don't need to. You can just point out, you don't need to say it was X amount of money. You can just point out to like the Koh-i-Noor diamond. Like, why have we got that? You can point to like evidence like that and about wealth extraction without trying to come up with figures based on things that aren't necessarily very accurate. Financial records would reveal a great many injustices even if they weren't breaking the law at the time. Yeah, absolutely. Like even something as simple as financial records would show how unjust the whole system is. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I can get into a long conversation about the use of the historical record, what that tells us. We're trying to see if you can recreate any.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah, you didn't turn your bed into a snake. But... yeah, like this. Okay. All right. But yeah, and I think there's a lot you can talk about, because like, just choose a historical event and there's always going to be conflicting opinions about it, discrepancies and all of this. And I don't think, like I say, it's just my little point is that we can just take the face of it as accurate. Did that villager just fall down? Are you alright? This villager just like dropped down a hole. Like it's not like a deep hole, but still. Like that's my opinion, because some people think we got to like really sell it, we got to really like drive the point home, so people know. But I think a lot of it just stands on its own. We don't have to like we don't have to like follow spurious stories. Because like let's take an at home example, and I know we're kind of winding up for the end. But think about the Great Famine, the Tate Famine as it's called, which is a bit underselling it drastically, in Ireland. There's a story told by like somebody who was in Constantinople, like Istanbul now, said they heard from like a barber who knew someone whose dad was in the Ottoman court at the time, who said like the Ottoman Sultan had wanted to give a lot more money than he did, but he'd not been allowed by the British government because it would embarrass Victoria or something. And like maybe that's true. Maybe that is true. It wouldn't be. It'd fit, right? But at the same time, you're saying a bloke claims he met a guy whose dad knew a thing. It, to me, like, as I say, keep the historian hat on. That's very... I would flag that up as very dubious. Yeah. If I was like writing this into an essay, I would say, it is said that this occurred. Here's the evidence for it. But... it's very unlikely that we can't know with any certainty whether that's true or not. But you don't need to, because the whole situation stands on its own. It's already like a horrendous atrocity. Like it's the Tate failure wasn't caused by the British government. but the fact there was a famine was. And then their refusal to do anything about it because capitalism. That was their stated reason, right? The markets will solve this problem. If we interfere, the markets will, it'll unbalance the markets and make it worse. And that's a covering, it's probably not even as bad as they claim, and they're probably just making it up, right? It's all based on, like, hibernophobia. And, an attitude that the English kind of ruling classes had towards the Irish. So, like, we don't, we can just point to, like, 1 million people died. Like, I know, like, the Ottoman Sultan wanted to help and the British government stopped him, like, has an impact. But I think we don't even need to base it on spurious stories because it stands on its own as a horrendous atrocity and a violent condemnation of the British government and the British state. That's my little cheery note to bring us towards the close.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot more you can talk about with history. That is about the power of propaganda now. We don't need to believe this or that. We can various things that we can kind of like. I guess my point is we can get lost with like eye-catching stories. When actually the boring evidence can actually be the thing that sells it.
Yeah.
Like say financial records. They might be tedious, but we don't need to come up with something more dramatic when that just tells the story. That spells out the injustices. But there we are.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll have a look. Because we should probably raid somebody, shouldn't we? And we've got a spiel to do beforehand, obviously. But like, let me have a look. Got a couple of people who it could be. This could be fun. Oh no, maybe I'll do that one this week. Hold on, let me have a look. So I'm deciding. Ooh. I'll think about it. Right, okay, so we're coming up to the end. So, thank you, Cassie, again for the raid. I really appreciate that. It was very kind of you. I was lurking in your chat, and I believe Loomis left you a view as well. So, that was hopefully you've been enough now. No, I'm not saying just us, but like hopefully that helped kind of like push you over the edge to affiliate status. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Thanks for streaming.
When I typed that message in, it will have said Raider from Cassie, right? I had a brief moment where I was like, how do you know what I'm watching?
I know many things, Loomis. I have many strange and mysterious powers. I love that phrase. I've used it a few times. Anyway, thanks for streaming there. It's been fun hanging out with you, Loomis, and chat. Well, thank you, Cassie. Thanks for hanging out. It's always fun to hang out and chat with you. And thank you, B-Rat, as well. Been really keeping us company. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Loomis, of course, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's always a pleasure. So yeah, I'll be back on Sunday at around 1800 BST. Around, as always. We're going to be painting. Whether I do kind of do some of the stuff. I don't know whether basing would be interesting. Maybe I'll do some basing on the Imperial Night. Maybe I'll just do it myself. I think I'll probably do it myself. That's tedious. We'll paint the witches then, won't we? The Drakari witches. And then back probably a week today, 2000 BST from Minecraft. Will you be joining me, Loomis?
I will.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. And while I weigh up my options, because I hate making decisions, I'll let you say goodbyes.
Have a good night, everybody. It's been good. Had fun tonight.
Excellent. It's been a really good one. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I think we're going to raid, because we've done it before, but we'll do it again. I think we're going to raid Luminous Nova. Let me just make sure that she's still going. Who is she's with her boyfriend, Mr. Kane, at the minute. So let me just let this advert play out, because that's annoying and I can't see. But yeah, so she's a flow artist and DJ and stuff. And flow arts are just really fun and relaxing if you get a chance to watch them. Something a little bit different. It's dancing to music with LED props, some nice fire. And she's the best flow artist I've ever seen. So that could be fun for us all to watch. So yeah, that's in a moment who I will send you over to. So yeah, once again, thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Loomis. Put the raid message in the chat. Thank you, Loomis. I need to make that a command. But thank you, that's brilliant. All right. Let me just make sure I've got this name right. Let me try. Has it worked? Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. Let's everybody join in. Let's go on. Let's go and do that. So yeah, I'll flick it onto the ending screen as I always do. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let's say final goodbye, Loomis, and then we'll go.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Good time zone.
Yeah. All right then. I hope to see you all soon. Until then, take care and Namarie.